McDonald's. Password 123456. 64 million job applications.
The Louvre. Password, Louvre.
A 19-year-old college kid extorts an entire school system for millions.
And the UK Foreign Office gets hacked by China. Probably. They won't say.
Welcome to 2025, the year cybersecurity lost the plot.
He's the guy with the plan for your online life. Keeps your data safe, cuts through the strife. Small biz owners, yeah, this is your guide. Cyber threats, beware, no place to hide. The small business cybersecurity guy, guarding your world with a sharp eagle eye. Tips and tricks to keep your systems tight. Stay secure, stay strong in the digital fight.
Right, I'm Noel Bradford, and this is the Small Business Cybersecurity Guy Christmas Special. With me today are Mauven MacLeod and Graham Falkner. And before anyone asks, yes, we're doing a festive episode. No, I'm not thrilled about it.
He hates Christmas.
Grinch level, so he properly hates it.
I don't hate Christmas. With a name like mine, what would you expect? I find the whole thing exhausting, and to be honest, excessive.
You literally said last week, and I quote, "Christmas is a 3-week organisational headache wrapped in enforced cheerfulness."
Did I say that? Doesn't sound like me.
You also said tinsel is a fire hazard masquerading as decoration.
Well, that's just objectively true.
Right. So why are we doing a Christmas episode then?
Because 2025 was absolutely mental for cybersecurity. And if I have to endure Christmas, I'm at least going to laugh at the year's greatest disasters. Plus, the blog's had a complete makeover. We've gone from cyber thriller novel cover to something that won't give your gran nightmares. Much more approachable now.
You've also launched a newsletter, haven't you?
Yeah, on LinkedIn. After much toing and froing, I decided to call it No BS Cyber for SMBs. Links in the show notes. Weekly dose of reality without the vendor fluff.
And today's episode is...
Pure entertainment. We're not here to tell you the sky's falling. We're here to point and laugh at the people who accidentally knocked it down. Billion-pound breaches. Teenage hackers. Ransomware gangs who bottled it when they realised they'd attacked nurseries. The Foreign Office admitting last week they got hacked back in October.
This will be fun.
Right, but we should clarify up front. Today's not doom and gloom. It's the Facepalm Retrospective. The greatest cybersecurity cock-ups of 2025.
Exactly. So, grab your festive beverage. I've got coffee because I'm not playing along. And let's talk about the year cyber lost the plot.
You could have at least had mulled wine or something.
Why would I ruin perfectly good wine by heating it up and adding spices?
Right, we're moving on before Noel starts ranting about mince pies.
What's wrong with mince pies? I like those. It is just the frivolous nonsense and excess I can't stand. But moving on. Right, we're starting with my absolute favourite story of the year. End of June 2025. 2 security researchers, Ian Carroll and Sam Curry, are doing a security review of McDonald's AI hiring chatbot. It's called MacHire, runs on a platform called Olivia, made by Paradox.ai. Used by 90% of McDonald's 40,000 restaurants worldwide to screen job applicants.
I sense this is going somewhere unfortunate.
Oh, Mauven. These researchers found an admin login for the whole system, and they thought, let's try some common passwords. First attempt, username 123456. Password 123456.
No.
Oh yes, straight in. Full admin access to what could have been up to 64 million job applicant records. Names, email addresses, phone numbers, home addresses, chat logs with the AI, personality test results, the lot. And there was no multi-factor authentication. Nothing. Just good old 123456 standing between the world and millions of people's personal data.
This is a Fortune 500 company's vendor. They had to pass security audits. How does 123456 survive a penetration test?
Better yet, Paradox.ai. later admitted this was a legacy test account that had not been logged into since 2019. It had been sitting there for 6 years. 6 years! Just waiting for someone to type the most common password in the world.
Did anyone actually steal the data?
No, thank goodness. The researchers were ethical. They sampled 7 records, confirmed it worked, then immediately reported it. Paradox.ai and McDonald's fixed it within 2 hours. But think about this. 6 years it was sitting there, and they had no idea if anyone else had discovered it before.
And this highlights a critical issue for small businesses listening. You're not just securing your own systems. You're trusting vendors to secure theirs. McDonald's presumably did due diligence on Paradox.ai. They probably had lovely contracts and security guarantees. But someone left a test account with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in production for 6 years.
Your supply chain is your attack surface. Always has been, always will be. Although I have to say, in Paradox.ai's slight defense, 123456 is the #1 password found in data breaches worldwide. So at least they picked the most common, terrible password?
That's not a defense.
I know! I'm trying to find a silver lining and there isn't one. It's just wall-to-wall awful.
Right, but you mentioned the Louvre earlier?
Ah yes, this one's brilliant. So, October 2025, thieves pulled off a physical heist at the Louvre, stole 88 million euros worth of French crown jewels.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but afterwards, French newspaper Libération got hold of confidential security audits going back years. Turns out the Louvre's cybersecurity was an absolute shambles. A 2014 audit found their video surveillance server password was Louvre, and their Thals security software password was Thals.
You're joking.
Wish I was. Gets better. They were running Windows 2000 and Windows XP without antivirus. Pen testers could just waltz in, access CCTV systems, modify badge access rights. A 2017 audit found the same problems still there. And as of 2025, they're still using surveillance software from 2003 running on Windows Server 2003, which Microsoft stopped supporting in 2015.
The most famous museum in the world is running 20-year-old software with passwords like Louvre.
They've now launched a €57 million security renovation. But with normal French efficiency, it won't be done until 2032, industrial action and long lunch breaks permitting, of course.
Mais oui. So between McDonald's and the Louvre, we've learned that even massive institutions with enormous budgets can't be bothered with basic password security.
Or MFA. Never forget the lack of MFA. Right, this next one is wild. It happened in December 2024, but it dominated headlines through 2025. PowerSchool, massive education software provider, serving 60 million students across 18,000 customers worldwide, gets hacked.
How bad are we talking?
Only a mere 62 million students. And 9.5 million teachers. Had their names, addresses, birth dates, social security numbers, medical alerts accessed, and even which kids get free school meals. All stolen by a 19-year-old college student in Massachusetts named Matthew Lane.
A teenager?
First-year student at Assumption University in Worcester. He used compromised credentials to access PowerSource, PowerSchool's customer support portal, then used a maintenance tool to download data from thousands of school districts. Over 6,000 districts across the US, Canada, and other countries.
How'd they catch him?
Well, here's where it gets properly mental. PowerSchool was hit with a ransom demand of $2.85 million, in Bitcoin, of course.
Of course, it's always crypto.
They reportedly paid something, though the exact amount's not been disclosed. The hacker sent them a video, supposedly showing him deleting the data. But then in May 2025, schools started getting extortion emails. The same hacker was trying to extort individual school districts using the data PowerSchool had already paid to have deleted.
So PowerSchool paid, got scammed, and the schools got victimised twice.
Exactly. And get this. Lane had already extorted a telecoms company for $200,000 a few months earlier. He pleaded guilty in May 2025 to cyber extortion, unauthorized access, and aggravated identity theft. got sentenced to 4 years in prison in October.
Good, but the damage is done.
Completely. And the whole thing was preventable. The attack vector? Compromised credentials with no MFA. Again, we keep saying it. Multi-factor authentication. Turn it on. Because a 19-year-old managed to breach one of the biggest education software providers in the world using basic credential theft.
The timing's notable too. PowerSchool had just been acquired by private equity firm Bain Capital for $5.6 billion in October 2024. 2 months later, catastrophic breach.
And now they're hemorrhaging contracts. Districts worldwide are asking very hard questions about security practices, all because they couldn't be bothered with MFA. Right, time to talk about the UK's absolute nightmare year. Because honestly, it felt like someone had a vendetta against British institutions.
Oh, we all know how bad it was, but remind us anyway.
Jaguar Land Rover, Marks & Spencer, Co-op, Harrods, the Foreign Office. Shall I continue?
September 2025. Scattered Spider and their mates hit JLR. Production at Halewood plant ground to a halt. Staff sent home. Car dealers couldn't register new vehicles during the September rush, one of the busiest periods for UK car sales.
The attack ended up costing JLR so much that the UK government had to guarantee a £1.5 billion loan to keep employees and suppliers paid.
Security experts called it the most economically damaging cyber attack in UK history. Nearly £2 billion in total damage when you count the supply chain impacts.
And the retail sector?
Relentless. M&S and Co-op got hit so hard they had to testify to Parliament. M&S chairman Archie Norman refused to say whether they paid a ransom, which probably means they did. Co-op lost 6.5 million customer records. Harrods got breached twice. Adidas, Gucci, Alexander McQueen, Louis Vuitton. It was like someone was working through a shopping list of British retail.
Maybe they were doing some early Christmas shopping, but it led to empty shelves in some cases, systems knocked out, actual disruption to grocery supply chains.
And the common thread? Third-party vendor compromises, supply chain attacks. Someone gets into your supplier systems, then pivots to yours.
How do small businesses protect against that?
They need a risk register to start with. Then check contracts. Make sure your vendors have security obligations in writing. Get their SOC 2 reports if they're big enough. Check they've got cyber essentials or equivalent. Ask about their incident response plans. And monitor for breaches affecting your suppliers, because they might not tell you quickly.
The Information Commissioner's Office has been quite clear that you remain responsible even when a vendor causes the breach. You chose them is the regulatory position.
Which is why vendor security needs to be part of your procurement process, not an afterthought.
You mentioned the Foreign Office?
Ah, yes. This broke just last week. On December the 19th, the government confirmed the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office got hacked. They detected it back in October, but only just admitted it publicly after it leaked.
What happened?
Seems like a cyber espionage operation. The attackers exfiltrated government data from FCDO systems, potentially including visa-related information. The suspected culprit is Storm 1849, also known as Arcane Door, a China-linked espionage group.
China?
Well, that's the speculation. Trade Minister Chris Bryant explicitly refused to confirm Chinese attribution, called it speculation. But Storm 1849 is known for exploiting Cisco firewall vulnerabilities, and the timing suspicious given PM Starmer's planned Beijing visit next month.
And the government's calling it low risk to individuals?
That's what they're saying. Vulnerability closed pretty quickly. But the case is with the Information Commissioner now. Shadow Foreign Secretary Priti Patel accused the government of failing to protect Britain from China's foreign interference. Which is kind of rich, given it was under the former government, in which she was a minister, that some of the policy decisions were made that will be the inevitable cause of the breach. But I'm not going any further down that particular rabbit hole. And before anyone panics about nation-state attacks being too sophisticated to defend against, remember that even these groups often rely on basic techniques. No MFA, unpatched systems, weak passwords. Right, rapid fire round because we're running out of time and there's just so much chaos to cover.
Hit me.
September 2025, London. A British ransomware gang, they were pretending to be Russian, calling themselves Radiant, hit Kiddo International, which runs 18 nurseries in London. They exfiltrated photos and personal data of over 8,000 preschool children.
Oh, that's vile.
Agreed. But here's where it gets weird. After the story went public and people understandably went ballistic about criminals holding kids' photos for ransom, the Radiant gang just gave up, completely abandoned the extortion, deleted the data, ran away.
They developed a conscience.
Cybersecurity experts described it as driven by fear, not morality. Radiant was a new, inexperienced group. They'd bought initial access from another criminal, launched the attack, then when it made headlines, they bottled it completely. Lost all the money they'd paid for access. 2 17-year-olds got arrested in October.
So they were basically incompetent criminals who accidentally did the right thing.
Pretty much. Although personally, I'm glad they chickened out rather than following through. Wrong reasons, right outcome.
Meanwhile, you've got established gangs like Chillin hitting Asahi Beer in late September, shutting down operations across Japan.
Yep, only 27 gigabytes stolen. 6 domestic beer plants suspended. The attack started September 29th, disclosed in October. They eventually admitted 1.5 million customers and 275,000 employees were affected. Now, the fact that they had resorted to paper and ink show how serious the impact was.
DoorDash got hit too, didn't they?
In October, an employee fell for a social engineering scam. The third breach in 6 years for them. Customer names, phone numbers, addresses exposed. And the much-hallowed Harvard University got hit in November. Another phone-based phishing attack. This time, it was donor records compromised.
If Harvard's falling for voice phishing, nobody's safe.
Then you've got US government agencies getting breached through SharePoint vulnerabilities. The tool shell exploits. Chinese threat groups having a field day. CVE-2025-53770 and CVE-2025-53771. Chained together, they allowed remote code execution on internet-facing SharePoint servers. Microsoft patched in July, but hundreds of systems were compromised before people applied the updates.
Which brings us back to patching.
Always does. Patch your systems when updates come out. Microsoft releases them for a reason.
So what are the key takeaways from this year's carnival of chaos?
Right, despite all the comedy value, these are real disasters. Billions in losses. Kids' data exposed. Schools extorted. It's funny until you're the one affected.
But there are lessons?
Absolutely. 1, for goodness sake, turn on MFA everywhere. 2, never, ever use 123456 as a password. Or Louvre. Or Fails, for that matter. 3, your vendors can sink you faster than your own security failures. 4, patch your systems when updates come out. 5, train your staff on phishing and social engineering because the attacks are getting bloody convincing.
6, ransomware gangs are erratic and unpredictable. Some will extort you twice. Some will chicken out entirely.
7, even Harvard, JLR, and the Foreign Office aren't immune.
Exactly. And that's actually the reassuring bit. If you're a small business doing the basics right, you're probably more secure than major organisations that can't be bothered with MFA or leave test accounts with 123456 lying around for 6 years.
The fundamentals work. They're not sexy, but they work. MFA, password managers, regular updates, vendor due diligence, security awareness training, risk registers, incident response plans.
And that Power School kid? 19 years old. No sophisticated nation-state hacking tools, just compromised credentials and no MFA. That's what brought down a $5.6 billion company and exposed 62 million students.
Which should terrify and reassure in equal measure.
Precisely. Terrify because the threat is real and the attacks are simple. Reassure because the defences are equally simple if you actually implement them.
And for 2026, we expect more of the same. Supply chain attacks will continue. Ransomware will evolve. Nation-state actors will keep probing. But the solution remains the same. Do the boring security basics properly.
Right, that's our time. Thank you for listening to this year's Facepalm Retrospective. The blog's had a makeover. Check it out at the smallbusinesscybersecurityguy.co.uk. Newsletters on LinkedIn. Search for No BS Cyber for SMBs. We'll be back in January with more brutally honest cyber chat.
Have a lovely Christmas, everyone. Change some passwords, enable MFA, maybe audit your vendors.
Not to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, though.
Definitely not to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And maybe don't use Louvre either. Happy Christmas, everyone. Bah! Humbug.
Click subscribe and join the ride. Together we'll shield the digital tide. Your business is strong when your data's secure. The small biz cyber guy, here to ensure. Thanks for listening, we're signing off. Stay cyber safe no matter the cost. The small biz